Now, let's be honest. Did any of you truly believe that Donald Trump would be elected president of the United States again? I mean, I know I didn't. I mean, all my political instincts told me that Trump, if he was the nominee for the Republican Party, then Joe Biden would be reelected as president. I felt that in 2020 that Joe Biden was the only person who could beat Donald Trump. And this year, I thought Donald Trump was the only person who would lose to Joe Biden. So, Mark, talk about what happened in the election and talk about, how he got elected and what we're looking at in the future.
Well, let me go back to where we were last year. I think we did a show. I think I was on with Mike Knapp. And at that point, my prediction, which turned out to be about half right, was that basically Trump and Biden wouldn't be the nominees. Obviously, Biden turned out not to be the Democratic nominee, and mercifully, by about an inch, we avoided having Trump assassinated, and obviously he went forward in being nomination. But I think it's really kind of simple. When voters aren't happy, what happens is the people who are in get voted out. And that is, in fact, an iron law of politics. And voters were unhappy this year, and that resulted in Biden being voted out.
So Nancy, I'm going to, change the question a little bit, because in 2016, there was a great deal of, resistance movement that was announced. The Democratic Party felt that Trump had been elected unfairly. And so the resistance grew to challenge him on several levels. This is a different election. And so how is the Democratic Party going to adjust to Trump 2.0 when he seems to have been elected fairly and squarely?
It's hard to predict. I will say, reverting to the previous conversation, I'd say I'm of the minority that think that Biden could have won this. But he was pressured by a variety of elites to pull out, so he did. And so the Democrats had to run a different kind of election. Who knows? I mean, this country has changed. The world is changing. Right-wing autocrats are in charge in many places in the world. And perhaps this is a trend. Obviously, the Democrats have to examine what went wrong. There were not as many voters in this past election as there was in 2020. It's like, I don't know the numbers exactly as they've finally sorted themselves out. 3 to 5 million fewer voters this time around than last time around. I don't know if they were in swing states or where they were. I didn't do the research. But, the landscape has changed. And we have far more people who were born in other countries who are voters now. They may not share the same values and expectations that other people do. And of course, the Democrats can't assume anything about anybody anymore. So, I mean, they're going to have to, of course, reevaluate. Right now, they're going to be dealing with an autocrat and a bully. That's what's going on in Congress already. And it's going to continue. So,
Mark, I'll let you respond to Nancy in a second. But what the question I have for you is, the first 2 years of the first Trump administration were marred not just by the resistance, but also by the fact that he had a terrible relationship with Paul Ryan as Speaker of the House. And the House didn't really help him in passing an agenda. Now, already, even though he's president-elect, we've seen him taking a very advanced and aggressive approach to what's going on in the Congress. But it seems to me that there's not much difference between 2024 and 2016 in terms of relationship with the House of Representatives.
Well, let me kind of put it on a slightly higher plane. I think Trump is far better prepared to be president than he was 8 years ago. Obviously, he's had the experience of having been in for 4 years. already. But that said, and he is also, I think, more politically disciplined. I think the campaign certainly reflected that than he was 8 years ago. That said, I think the experience that he's had, the sort of opposition that he's had, has probably made him more, lack of a better word, focused in being adversarial and in picking his battles and then pursuing them. And so while he may be more disciplined, he may be more focused, that may mean that we also see more sparks and more competition as he attempts to move forward with his agenda.
Well, Nancy, I'm going to give you the last word on this. We have about 60 seconds left.
Well, my question is, who elected Elon Musk? Having a lot of people in a position to influence presidential national policy who have no experience in any of this is going to be interesting as we go forward. I mean, you people, it's up to you people on the other side of the aisle to explain all this, because it doesn't make any sense to many of us.